Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Alphabet Soup. This week our term is Q for queer, and oh my god, I love being queer. Oh my god, that Oprah thing is never gonna die. Anyway, okay, so what does queer mean? So basically, if you're just gonna go off like a dictionary or whatever, queer just means being different. It means being not the norm. It means being weird. And you may consider being weird a good thing or a bad thing. I consider being a weirdo a fucking good thing. I consider myself to be a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, and I think that the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, especially the OG shit back in the 90s, was the coolest stuff ever. So, like we've had for a few of our episodes, we actually have someone who's going to talk to us about their experiences being queer, what that means to them, etc., etc. Once again, it's Diandra Marie. She did an episode with us for L for a Lesbian. If you haven't seen it, go and check that out. It was dope. So, anyway, we're going to switch the camera. All right, let's go.
Hey everybody, it's Diandra Marie. I am a content creator, media personality, and host. How I define queer as someone who likes someone of the same sex. Or, I mean, it doesn't even have to be the same sex because there's different genders. More than two genders. So, someone who's attracted to someone of their same gender. That's how I would define queer, I think. Stigma around the word queer. I think that the stigma really came from, I feel like the stigma is really from like back in the day. Maybe it's how young I am. I'm not even that young, but I never really heard queer in a negative connotation, even in things that I've read or watched on TV, or even people around me. I've never heard it used in a negative connotation. However, I'm aware that it's used in a negative connotation or seen as a negative word toward the LGBT community. How I use it mainly kind of to talk about the, I guess, community I'm a part of, like QPOC, queer person of color, queer woman of color. And I live close to Brooklyn. There's a huge QPOC community out there. They're doing a lot of great things, parties and panels, and they're doing great stuff to really include and give queer people of color a voice. But that's really most of the time when I use it, when I'm really meshing being gay and being black together. I don't really use it to describe myself. Like I don't really say like I'm queer. I'll just say like I'm a lesbian or I'm gay. But if I'm talking about, I guess, a more defined community within a community, I'll be like, I'm going to this QPOC event, or I'm a queer woman of color. So yeah, that's in the capacity I use it. Queer representation. I think that media is starting to get on the right track with that, and I really just think that's because you have a lot of people a part of the community who are contributing and writing these roles and making queer representation more prominent and more realistic, instead of just that one track story of what people who probably were not gay thought being gay was. So I think that, like I said, we're on a great track of really representing the community accurately. However, I always think we can do more and better and have more voices and more stories added to the mix, added to media. I don't see why not. We have so many characters for the heterosexual community, and especially for like cis, straight, white guys, that I know there's more than enough room for lesbian representation in media, and not just lesbian representation in media, black representation in media, women representation in media. So yeah, I think that we are on the right track. However, I think that there's a lot more stories that we can tell and, show society and show mainstream media that this is a lifestyle that is real, and it's not a stereotype, it's not fake, it's not a phase as some people try to make it. It's not disgusting, it's real, and it's love. So I think that that's how I feel about how queers are represented in the media.
being queer means different things to different people. So, for instance, for me, it means that I am in flux when it comes to my gender. Like, I guess the closest identity for me would be like gender fluid or gender queer. Probably gender fluid. I go back and forth constantly throughout the day. The only thing that doesn't really change on a regular basis is how I think. It's my brain. My brain is pretty much a boy brain. And I'm chill with that. I'm chill with being that way. I'm a boy with boobs. I'm okay with it. Anyway, so yeah, for me, it means that I'm in flex. For Diandra Marie, it meant that she is different. And it's more so the community that she's a part of as opposed to something that she particularly identifies as. For different people, it's going to mean different things. And for some people, queer isn't going to be a term that they enjoy using for themselves. So like we've been saying in a lot of these videos, at the end of the day, it comes down to respect. Respecting people's pronouns, their gender identity, respecting how they choose to walk through life, so on and so forth. And when it comes to media, it comes down to telling a diverse set of stories because not everyone is normal. Some people are queer. And when you tell those stories, you tell a more inclusive tale of the world as a whole. Wow, that sounded inspirational. Look at me. I'm a fucking philosopher. Anyway, if you like this video, if you enjoyed it, if you have any comments, go ahead and comment. In fact, tell me, what does it mean to you to be queer? Do you like the term? And how do you feel representation in the media is going right now? Tell me. Answer one question, answer two, answer three, answer like more questions that I didn't ask. Read my brains. I don't know. Anyway, follow, share, subscribe. We'll see you next week. Have a good week. Have a good weekend. Have a good life. Love yourself. All that jazz. See ya. All right.